Hi guys, Saint here. Set 11 is going to be out pretty soon, and I got to practice a lot on the PvE, and I pretty much have a good general idea of like what's good in the game. So I'm going to go over some of the different comps that you guys can play that are going to be easy to execute, and they should be playing on the first day of the game. So the first one is I I personally think it's the best one cost reroll in the game. I know people love one cost reroll comps because they're like really easy to play. Like you basically just do the same thing almost every single game and then like hope that you hit. So like people are gonna generally kind of like that kind of stuff. So the basic foundation of the comp is gonna be three mythic with Cog, Nico, and Cho'Gath, and two Behemoth. You have Malphite and you have Caitlyn. The key itemization that you want, you're gonna always want to have blue buff on Cog, and then you're basically just gonna want to have like just whatever AP items you can get. Like don't tunnel too hard on having like the perfect items or anything like that. Just kind of build like what you're going to be able to use. And then Caitlyn's going to want to have like IE, like Giant Slayer, those kind of things. And maybe Sojin if you can get it. If you can't get it, like that doesn't really matter. You're just going to want to have damage items in general. And then you're going to want to itemize Cho'Gath as your tank, and then maybe throw like a random TG onto the Malphite. But mainly put your tank items on Cho'Gath. So you just want like, stuff like this, like maybe Warmog or Spark or. I don't really think the items matter that much. Just as long as he has like some kind of tank items, then you're good to go. Like this is completely fine. And then you cap the comp by adding either more behemoths in. You can put like Shen plus Ornn, and then later on you can put like five mythic. You can play like Ornn, or you play like Nautilus and like Hui and things like that. So generally your full cap board is gonna be this like five mythic, four behemoth, like late game cap board. This is kind of what it's gonna look like. And how you play this comp is you basically just don't level until after Krugs, which is the first PV or the second PV round, and then you're gonna roll to maybe 30 to like kind of pick up 30 gold to pick up some of your one cost units. But don't go below 30. If you go below 30, it's not really gonna end up that good for you. And then you go back to 50 gold, and then just slowly roll to 50 gold every single turn until you hit your units. And usually you should hit all your units by the wolf round, and you should be good to go on that. All right, the next comp we're going to talk about is it's another reroll build. There's a lot of reroll builds in this set. If you kind of haven't already figured that out by now, this one's going to be more played around. You have Senna. There's also you have Caitlyn. This is more like an Ink Shadow build, and you have Gnar, and then you have Jax is giving Ink Shadow, and then you have this guy's giving Ink Shadow. So this is the core of the comp, and you're eventually going to add in like another Warden or you're going to add another Bruiser in for this, it can be literally any Bruiser. It could be Riven if you want, but I don't really think like, you don't need it. Like this is the main units you should be worrying about with this build. So it's kind of same thing. You want to put like Rage Blade, IE, like any kind of damage items on Senna. Like don't tunnel too hard on like what the damage items are. Just make sure that something that looks kind of like this. Like don't tunnel too much on like what the items are. And then Gnar is a little bit more specific. You're always going to want at least one BT, one Titans, and then you can either do Sterix or you can do another Titans as the last items. And then the way you make this comp stronger as you cap it, you're going to either add in more frontline units. You can put more sniper units. You can put more Ink Shadow. I've seen a lot of people do like 4 Bruiser. Like you can do like 4 Warden. I think 4 Warden is really good. You do like this, and then you put set in like way down the line, and then you put like maybe like an Amumu or something like that. You have something like this as like your late game board. It's gonna look a little bit like, oh, that's too many Wardens, but something like this is gonna be like your fully like capped in game board. And the way you play this build is a little bit different than the last one. This build you're going to be rolling on level 6, so just kind of play the game normal, but make sure that you have a lot of gold, like you're not leveling too aggressively. And then you're going to level to 6 on 3-2, which is where the second augment happens. And don't roll down too much on 3-2. You just kind of want to stay above 50 gold, slowly rolling to 50 gold every single turn until you get Senna and Gnar 3. Oh wait, I'm actually missing again here. I'm missing Rek'Sai. Whoops. Yeah, it's Rek'Sai. That's the Bruiser. Wait, whoop. Oh god, I messed this up. Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is the other unit you want. Okay, I knew something was wrong with this. It's Rek'Sai and this. Okay, that's how the build looks. My bad. I was like, this doesn't look right, but Yeah, something like this. So, anyways, you're gonna just slowly roll to 50 gold until you have Senna and Gnar 3. These are the main units you care about. If you can 3-star Rek'Sai or like one of these other ones, that's cool. Caitlyn's also good at 3-star. She's not bad. But these are the two main units that you care about 3-starring. So mainly try to focus on those, and then you can like kind of plug and play whatever you're hitting to like cap the board as you go. So another build, we're gonna move into like 3-cost rerolls. I think there's 2 really strong 3-cost rerolls in the meta right now. Actually, there's a bunch of There's a bunch of really strong 3-cost rerolls in the meta, but the ones that I feel like are easiest to play, there's one where you play Umbral with let's see, this is a little bit more of an expensive build than the last build that we just talked about, and you have a Loon, and then you have usually you can play 4 Umbral, or you can play 6 Umbral with this, and then the last one is going to be like either Darius or like just whatever that you have. Like if you have Silas, cool, that's fine. And then you're gonna put in like a Kindred. Where's Kindred at? Kindred that gives Reaper, and then you're gonna put in a Behemoth. Which if you have Ornn, that's great, but you can just play Shen in the meantime. I wouldn't tunnel too hard on like which one you're playing. And then itemization, you generally want like Titans, VT, and then the third item can be anything. It can be like a Deathblade, it can be an IE, it can be another Titans. Like don't worry too much about what the third Yone item is. It can just be any kind of like setup. I think Double Titans is also good. Loon, you want Sojin, and then you either want like basically Sojin is the main thing you want, and then you can kind of build anything, whatever. You can do Morello if you want to have anti-heal, and then also you can do like Death Cap. Like this is probably like the main setup for this. And then you can put like tank items on Yorick or Ornn. And then the way you cap this board after you hit your 3-star Yone and a Loon is you level up and you play 6 Umbral, or you can do like 4 Reaper if you have a spat for it. You can do like more Behemoths. There's a bunch of ways you can like cap this board, but this is like the main core foundation of it. And the way you play this build is you level to 7 as you like normally would, like normal leveling intervals. And then you just stay at level 7. You slowly roll to 50 gold until you have 3-star Yone and 3-star Loon. And if you get the Yorick carry augment with this, there's like a special Yorick carry augment. You can also like itemize Yorick and 3-star Yorick as well in this comp. But if you don't have the Yorick carry augment, I generally don't like 3-starring it. But he's very, very strong if he has the Yorick carry augment. So you can do that with this build as well. All right, next 3-cost build that I've been having some fun playing is kind of this is like an interesting build to play. It's like there's a couple ways you can play it. You can play more centered around like the Fates. This is Aphelios Thresh reroll. You can also play this rerolling like the Alawi and the Amumu, but I've kind of been liking playing it rerolling Thresh and Aphelios. Then you have Ari in here, and then you have where's the other Faded? Faded. You have this Thresh, Kindred. I mean, you can play Set. You basically play like whatever extra one. I mean, Set would obviously be the best, but if you're not going to have Set usually, so you're probably just going to be playing like Yasuo or something in the meantime. So that's 5 Faded, and then you're going to have like a random Behemoth unit. That can be literally anything. This will be like the core of the comp. So this is 4, 5. This is 6 units, and then you're going to have usually Aphelios' items don't matter too much. It's kind of more the same. Like you do Rage Blade, you can do IE. Giant Slayer, like this is kind of like the core of it. And then Thresh, you're just gonna kind of want to put like whatever tank items you can on it. It can be like Redemption, Bramble, Declaw, something like that. Just whatever tank items. I mean, Crown Guard's good too. Really doesn't matter what the tank items are. Just any kind of tank items are good. The same thing with this. Like you're gonna play this build as any 3-cost reroll build. You're gonna try to get to level 7 and slowly roll to 50 gold until you have Thresh and Aphelios 3-starred. Caitlyn. I know I was missing Caitlyn. Boom, there. Caitlyn. Yeah, you usually have Caitlyn Shen. Okay, that's what it looks like. My bad. So this is like the core of the build. This is 4, 6, 7. This is what your level 7 board looks like. And then the way you make this board stronger is, I personally like putting more Behemoths in. So you would put like Ornn, and then in late game you could have like Udyr to cap your board, because Udyr is like a very good late game cap. So this is like what the full cap board generally will look like. It's 4 Behemoth, 5 Faded. But you can also play like more Faded. Like let's say you have a Faded spat, you can play 7 Faded. There's a lot of like plug and play you can do with this, but I feel like this is like the most consistent version of this. And then who you're gonna link with the Faded, because like you have to link them, you have to hover the unit over, is usually you hover it over Thresh and you link Thresh and Aphelios, because it'll make your team really tanky and have a lot of attack damage. So That is my opinion the two best 3-cost reroll comps. There are other 3-cost reroll comps you can play, but I personally have had the best success with playing these boards. And now we're gonna talk more about like playing the game tempo wise and like playing around like 4 and 5 cost. I think there's like a few different comps you can play. I'm gonna show you like what I personally think are the 3 most consistent 4-cost comps and like kind of have a general framework for how to play them. But like playing these comps there is a lot of like wiggle room of like what's happening. So don't like consider this to be set in stone or anything like that. These comps are like generally pretty like based on what kind of augments you have and things like that, or like what you're hitting. So don't tunnel on something being like, oh, this is the exact way to play this. Yeah, but just kind of like play more around what you're hitting. Like if you have like +1 augments, things like that. So generally, this build, this is what the kind of like the cap of this build is going to look like. It's going to be Lys, Lux. This is a porcelain build. Where's Lux at? Am I blind? I am maybe blind. Where's Lux? Oh, there's Lux. So you have Lux, you have this, you have Lys, and then generally you put in Syndra as your last unit. And this is what your level 9 board is going to look like. I think you can run 4 Sniper mid game with Ashe with this, but generally, oh, that's not the right unit. Oh, wait. Yeah, Syndra. Anyways, I think generally this is like what the full cap version of this board looks like. This is 8 units and then Lux. I don't really put Syndra in until like level 9, but I really like 4 Warden with this. You put all your tank items on a Mumu, so that's just like whatever that you're hitting. It's just, you know, standard stuff like Bramble, Sunfire, Declaw, all that kind of stuff. Because anti-heal is pretty important in this set. Then you get your Declaw, which is stuff like that. And then Ashe's best items are going to always be like either Rage Blade or red buffs. You want something to give attack speed. And then just like any other carry, it's like Deathblade or Giant Slayer or IE, that kind of stuff. So this is like the main core of what you're going to have itemized. You want a Momo and Ashe itemized. And then you put your leftover tank carry or carry items on Lysandra, like all your AP items. And then she's going to be like your secondary carry. So it's going to look something like this. And then who you link with the Faded is you link Aphelios or Syndra into Set. And then you can put leftover tank items onto one of these. Pretty much any of these tanks, like whatever you're 2-starring first. And also, just as a rule of thumb, with any of these like 4 and 5 cost late game builds, you're going to want to look at what the Exalted is. There's a trait in the game called Exalted, where if you play the 3 Exalted units, which change every single game, it's going to give you a % damage increase. So if the Exalted units kind of line up a little bit with the units that you're having, like let's say like the Exalted is like Ashe and Nautilus or something, or like Ashe and, you know, Alawi. It's almost always better to put an Exalted at level 9 or 10. So it's like try to like sculpt your comp in a way where you can fit that Exalted in, because the damage increase is really huge. Like fitting Exalted in would be better than fitting this Injured in a lot of cases. Like I'd rather have 3 Exalted over 4 Arcanist most of the time, if that makes sense. All right, the next build we're going to talk about for the 4 and the 5 cost is a Invoker build, which is going to be played around more Lilia. Lilia is going to be your carry, and you're going to cap your board with Wei. So Lilia is here, and you're going to do like usually 4 Invokers with Annie being your main tank. And then you can do like Cog, and then you can do what's the other Invoker, like Lilia. Can either be Janna or this dude. Oh wait, not this dude. Yeah, the other dude, the chick. This, because this gives attack speed, and then you're gonna put a Warden in, which would be like Set, or it could be a Mumu. It can literally be any Warden you want. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you can either put more Mythic in, which would be like Tom, and like maybe like Galio or something. Your board can look something like this, which is like a 5 Mythic 4 Invoker. You can also run 6 Invokers. You can run 7 Mythic. Basically, just it depends on like what augments you're hitting, things like that. I think the best carry items for Lilia are blue buff, and then you just want a lot of raw AP. Like you want like Death Cap, and then you can either do like Morello or Gunblade, or like just whatever AP items you can hit. Something like this is really good. Gunblade is good too, but you want to have a lot of AP on Lilia because you're like trying to aim and snipe out the back line. And you put all of your tank items onto Annie as per usual. You're gonna just do like, you know, the standard Declaw, the Bramble, and then maybe like a Warmog or you don't need Sunfire because Annie has built-in anti-heal. She has built-in burn. So you kind of want to have something like Warmog. So just going to look something like this. And then you're going to throw all your leftover carry items onto Hui. Hui is the way you cap this board. He is extremely strong. He's probably the best 5 cost in the game if you put enough the right items on him. So like if you could do something that looks like this would probably be like the best Hui items, or maybe Nashers or whatever. But this is like what the full cap board would probably look like. And still the same thing, if you see that you can get Exalted into this board, try to get Exalted into the board, like plug the units in if you can. And then the last comp we're going to talk about for the 4 and the 5 cost builds that I think is kind of easy, not easy to run, but if you're going to do something more along the lines of running around Kai'Sa and playing around a little bit more around Inkshot. So that would look something more like this. We're going to have you have your Kai'Sa, you have your Set, you have your Aatrox. So this gives you 3 Ink Shadow, and then you're going to have Xayah. And then you can either, let's say this is the core of the late game build. This is where you can like plug in, you Behemoth, whoops. So this is the core of the, like I said, like 6 units. And then you just play kind of like what you're hitting. You can play like more Wardens, you can play more Guardians, you can play 4 Trick Shot, which would be like something like this with like Sivir, because Sivir gives attack speed to your person. It can be something like this. So that'd be 6, 7, 8. And then obviously you can like plug in Exalted units. You can do more Story Weaver units if you want to do that too. There's a lot of plug and play. This is just kind of like an Ink Shot, Trick Shot build you can do. I'm kind of on the fence about how to itemize Kai'Sa. I just know she wants a lot of raw damage. So I think the core is something like Giant Slayer IE. A lot of people say Sojin is like BIS on her. I'm on the fence about that. It might be. But usually you're going to put like the Ink Shot item. If let's say that it's a damage ink item from the Ink Shadow, you're going to put that on Kai'Sa. If not, you're going to put it on one of these people. And then you're off, pretty much put all your tank items onto like whatever frontliner you're hitting. You can put it like on Ornn, Galio, something like that. But Udyr, like I think kind of benefits more from like obviously like things like Titans are really going on Udyr, BT, and then like maybe like a tank item or like adaptive or something like that. Something like this is really good on Udyr. And then Xayah, you're just gonna same thing as Kai'Sa basically. You just want to have a bunch of raw AD items on Xayah. You can do Rage Blade on her too, which is not the worst. But it's gonna look sort of something like this. And same thing, you're gonna want to try to get Exalted in if you can get Exalted. Just try to squeeze that in late game. And that's kind of like the core builds that I think are good for you'd want to play when the set comes out. And I hope you guys have a lot of fun playing set 11. And I hope this comps has helped you guys out. Oh, and if I went through any of this stuff fast, and you guys want to like look over the builds, kind of like or have them up on your second monitor while having this video open or anything, you just always go to my stream and just type !comps, and all these builds will be listed with like all the pictures and like how to itemize them. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.